Hey guys, it's Sammy and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the 2nd of September 2020 to talk about everything that went down tonight on AEW Dynamite. Now, I thought the show was a pretty good go-home show. It did a lot to build up the pay-per-view this weekend, but I felt like a couple of things were off and a couple of things were missing. And we'll talk about that as we get going. I want to thank everybody for joining us here tonight on twitch.tv/PWUnlimited. Remember, if you miss any of this live stream or any of our previous reviews here on Twitch, you can always catch them on the PWUnlimited YouTube channel, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, except for last night's NXT review. We had an issue. It just would not upload, could not get it onto YouTube. But if you want to see our NXT review, you can do so by going to the video on demand section here on Twitch and checking it out there. I really do apologize for that. Also, speaking of being here on Twitch, if you guys want to support us here on Twitch, you can do so a couple of different ways. You can either donate some bits here to us, or you could subscribe to our channel here on Twitch one of two ways, either by giving us one of those tier 1 subscriptions or using your Amazon Prime. Because if you have Amazon Prime, then that means you have Prime Gaming. And if you have Prime Gaming, you get one free subscription to any Twitch channel that you want to support here on Twitch. And I would greatly appreciate it if that one channel, that one streamer, that one live broadcaster was us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. With that, we've got a number of you in the live chat going right now. Also, remember, live chat, if you're here live, you can be part of the show. You can be part of the show by texting in to 510-906-1341 and let me know what you thought of tonight's Dynamite. And also, you can let us know by going right up there to the top of the chat. I think it's somewhere like over there. Go to the top of the chat and hit up the poll where we ask you, what did you think of tonight's Dynamite? With that, let's talk about tonight's Dynamite. The show opens up and JR tells us that Excalibur's back. Excalibur's back on commentary with Jim Ross and Tony Schiavone. So it's good to see that Excalibur is back, and well, I thought the show was a little better with him on commentary, but not a lot better, if that makes any sense. So going forward, the first match of the night was Santana and Ortiz against Best Friends. This match was a fun brawl right at the open. These two teams just beat the crap out of each other. Best Friends jumped Santana and Ortiz as they entered the ring. The teams brawled around ringside. Taylor got launched off the stage onto a pile of chairs and was down for several minutes. Trenton Santana began the match as the legal men in the ring. Trent hit a suicide dive to Ortiz, but missed a spear attempt on Santana and ran into the barricade. He had one of those dazed and confused what's going on looks there for a moment. Trent tagged in and got speared off the apron onto the ring steps. Santana and Ortiz went for a street sweeper, but Santana got pulled off the apron by Chuck Taylor. Trent then hit a crunchy on Ortiz, but Santana placed Ortiz's arm on the bottom rope to force the kick out, force the break of the pin. Then it was Trent and Ortiz in the ring. And Santana yells something in Spanish. I don't know exactly what because I don't speak Spanish, but he yells something in Spanish. And he's got this little black thing in his hand. He goes, and it extends its little black baton. So Ortiz whips Trent into the ropes and Santana smacks him in the back with it. Referee doesn't see this. If the referee does, maybe he thought he punched him or hit him with the forearm. Either way, that's interference. But Trent is hurt from this baton shot. He then takes a street sweeper and gets pinned by Santana. So Santana and Ortiz do defeat Best Friends. So MJF was backstage cutting a promo when Lee Johnson interrupted him and said, Mark Sterling has locked himself in the locker room and he is refusing to come out. MJF said, okay, let's go take care of this, Wardlow. The Wardlow kicks in the door because he won't open it. MJF cut a promo on Sterling. He threatened Sterling and insisted that he show up in the match tonight with Moxley. Because remember, if Sterling doesn't go forward with the entire match, then MJF doesn't get his title shot this weekend at the pay-per-view. So next up, we had a very great, very good, phenomenal almost. Maybe phenomenal is giving it too much praise. Really, really, really fun 8-man tag. It was SCU and Private Party against Jurassic Express and the Young Bucks, with the winning team getting a match at the pay-per-view to face each other to rise the ranks, I guess. Nothing really specific as far as this match and what is going to happen at the pay-per-view other than JR said it about 10 times. Whichever two teams get to wrestle on the pay-per-view, that's an extra big payday. So Kazarian and Jungle Boy began the match with a hot exchange. They're trading 1 counts. Matt tagged in and got cut off by Private Party. Cassidy hit a springboard dive, and Matt rolled to the outside. A fan in the front row, keep in mind, taunted Matt Jackson with a sign that said, "Hangman, can you drink my beer?" or something like that. So Matt grabbed the sign, tried to rip it, didn't rip it at first, ripped it, and then poured the beer over the guy's head. Daniels tagged in and got cut off by Matt and Nick. JR then called Nick one of the best athletic wrestlers in all of AEW. He basically said, Nick Jackson is one of the best all-around pure professional wrestlers here. Daniels made his own comeback. Kazarian and Jungle Boy tagged in, and Kazarian hit a leg slice on Nick on the apron. Kaz brought Nick in with a slingshot cutter. Daniels hit a moonsault to the floor, and both Bucks, while Kazarian continued working over Jungle Boy inside the ring. The Bucks looked very distracted for a lot of this match, like there was other things on their mind. Private Party hit tandem facebusters on Jungle Boy. Daniels tagged back in and continued working Jungle Boy over. SCU and Private Party were firmly in control here as they worked on Jungle Boy through a commercial break. Cassidy and Daniels accidentally ran into each other at one point, allowing Jungle Boy to get the hot tag to Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus ran wild with kicks and a moonsault off the apron. Luchasaurus and Matt hit stereo standing moonsaults, followed by stereo top rope splashes from Nick and Jungle Boy. Jungle Boy tagged back in and, got cut off yet again. Matt accidentally hit a super kick on Jungle Boy. Cassidy hit a senton atomico for a near fall. Everyone hopped in at this point and hit their big moves. Jungle Boy hit a tope suicida to Daniels. Cassidy and Kaz got hit with Luchasaurus' tail whip, and as well as Quinn. Matt then blind tagged in. The Bucks hit the BTE trigger on Quinn and pinned him to pick up the victory. So the Bucks were more serious than normal, but at the same time, especially Matt Jackson was a little preoccupied with something else on his mind, yet they still did pick up the victory. So now, coming off of this match, the Young Bucks will take on Jurassic Express this Saturday night at All Out. Also, our poll has completed. Asked you guys, what did you think of tonight's AEW Dynamite? Did you like it? Was it all right, or did you not like it? And, 92% of you said, I liked it. 8% of you said it was all right, and nobody didn't like tonight's Dynamite. So going forward, Jim Ross has to tell us Jake Hager is backstage with his own camera crew. Let's see what he's up to. And all he does is walk into a little room where Orange Cassidy's sitting. Orange Cassidy doesn't acknowledge him or anything. Hager sits next to him and just goes, Jericho wants you ringside for his match tonight with Joey Janella. And that was it. Why did he need his own personal video crew, film crew for that? That made no sense at all. Tully Blanchard gave FTR a pep talk backstage. Dax and Cash cut a promo and said winning the tag team titles at All Out would make a 7-figure difference in their annual income. They said that they're going to win no matter how much they like and respect Hangman Page. Then they said, top guy's out. So next up, Tony Schiavone was in the ring. And, well, he was here to interview one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions, Kenny Omega. Omega entered wearing a Hana Kimura tribute shirt, and they told us that we can go to Pro Wrestling Tees to buy the shirt, and all proceeds from the shirt will go to Hana Kimura's mother. So Tony asked Omega about Paige's actions last week. Omega said everyone makes mistakes, and Paige got taken in by FTR, the cockroaches. Omega said everyone lives and learns, and at All Out, FTR will fall to Kenny Omega and Adam Hangman Page. FTR and Blanchard would make their way down to the ring. FTR had a cooler, pulled out some beers, and said, we know you don't like this. Here's some chalk. And Omega goes, I love some 2% chalk. Chocolate milk, that is. But Omega goes, I'm not dumb. I know what you're doing out here. You're going to have me get my guard down, and you're going to attack me 2-on-1. And he looks over at Tully and goes, 3-on-1. Sorry, I can't count. They were like, we take offense to that, blah, blah, blah. Omega called them dickheads, and they bleeped it out. Well, they didn't bleep it. They muted him saying dickheads. Page would then enter. And Dax would go, look who it is. It's the big star, Adam Hangman Page. FTR told Page to tell Omega that they hadn't gotten to Page to make him turn on the Bucks. Page did it all himself, they said. They said it wasn't our fault. We didn't tell you to do it. They all stared each other down. FTR then begged off. Tully told them, hey, not now, do it at the pay-per-view. Page stood in the ring by himself. Omega stood by himself on the floor. And we still see a little disconnect from the tag team champions. Page did come down with a drink in hand, and his eyes were completely purple underneath like he hadn't been sleeping, and he'd been on a bender. Someone's going to turn on somebody, and if you watch BTE, Kenny's the one turning heel. They keep saying, we want the cleaner Kenny. Kenny the cleaner needs to come here. You're not serious enough, Kenny. And then, at the end of this week's Dynamite, BTE, they showed Omega getting into a car. They showed the Bucks, and they were all looking sad. And there was this not ominous, but sad music playing over it and everything. And you see Omega, and he's looking in the rearview mirror. Then it cuts back to the Young Bucks. But when it cuts back to Omega at the last second of BTE, he's wearing the shades. Got the aviators on. He's looking like the cleaner. So everyone's expecting Hangman to maybe turn. But maybe Kenny turns on Hangman. Maybe FTR wins at the pay-per-view, and Kenny says, I've had enough, and attacks Hangman. Hangman then becomes this huge baby face off of it. And we get the cleaner Kenny Omega. So in the back, Alex Marvez interviewed Jericho. Jericho made a joke about Marvez never kissing a woman again. Don't know where that came from. Jericho said he's made Cassidy a bigger star since they've been feuding. He's shown his mean streak. He's shown that he can cut a promo in a debate, but at All Out, he's going to put a bullet in Orange Cassidy. Jericho then warned Joey Janella and said he's going to sacrifice him tonight. So next up, we had Chris Jericho taking on Joey Janella. Basically, it was a complete squash. He hit him with a code breaker, hit him with the lion tamer, and he tapped out. Cool. After the match, and Orange Cassidy was at ringside the entire time. After the match, Jericho exposed the buckle and threw Joey Janela in it, but unfortunately, they had one of those top of the turnbuckle cameras, and so when Janela went into the buckle, you can see that he didn't really go into the buckle, and he smacked his head on the ropes instead. But somehow, Janela came up bleeding. Jericho wiped the blood on his Orange Cassidy T-shirt that he was wearing, ripped the T-shirt off, and threw it at Cassidy. Cassidy jumped into the ring with a bag of something and went after Jericho. Hager jumped in and blocked Cassidy and started beating him down. Sonny Kiss ran in and hit Jericho with a forearm. Hager left the ring to check on Jericho. Cassidy posed in the ring with a bottle of the bubbly. He didn't drink it or anything, but he poured it out instead. Jericho promised to show Cassidy that he's the better man on Saturday. So next up, we get a whole segment with Matt Hardy and Sammy Guevara that's completely during the commercial. Completely. They built up this broken rules match during a commercial break. We saw it all picture in picture with their cue cards. This shit was like, what the fuck? This was one of the things that I said was off. One of the things. Why build up this match during the commercial? Like last week, you get a 7-minute tables match where 4 to 5 of it's under commercial. And then tonight, they have to build up their match with cue cards because, well, we can't talk because they're not going to hear us during the commercial. This was dumb. Sammy was out on the stage. Hardy was on top of one of the tunnels. Cool. Matt's got to win. I mean, Matt put his AEW career on the line. Of course he's got to win. So next up, another segment that just died a death. Taz came out and promised to one of his men, whether that's the absolute Ricky Starks or the machine Brian Cage, the FTW World Champion, one of those two will win the Casino Battle Royale. And this is when Jake Roberts would interrupt. And this just went on forever. Roberts said that this was tit for tat. You interrupted us last week, so we're going to interrupt you tonight. Roberts made some very strange sexual references. He said they're like squirrels looking for their nuts, but with them in the ring, they're not going to be able to blow their load. And I was like, oh boy, we're on national TV, and Jake Roberts is out here talking about blowing your load. Are you kidding me? He then just said, Team Taz is a bunch of losers. And then Eddie Kingston would interrupt. Eddie Kingston came out, totally owned Jake Roberts. Jake kept trying to talk over him, and he was like, oh, yo, I know you're a legend, Jake, but let the king finish talking. Taz, you too. Darby Allin's music would then hit. Everyone started brawling. The Guns came out. They entered the brawl. Santana and Ortiz came out with Hager. They entered the brawl. Best Friends attacked Santana and Ortiz. And they all started brawling during a commercial break. Come back from the commercial break. They tell us that all these men will be taking place in the Casino Battle Royale this coming Saturday at All Out. Oh, but let's check out a video about the Dark Order. We don't even see this brawl or who comes out on top of this brawl. Because I think it was JR goes, well, we didn't have a Battle Royal booked for tonight, but I guess these guys take it upon themselves to kind of have a Battle Royal. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? We get a cool video package here, hyping up the Dark Order versus Cardona, Natural Nightmares, and Scorpio Sky. Everyone did a good job in their deal. I liked Matt Cardona's line the best, where he goes, Brody. He says something like, Brody, I know you. What did he say exactly? Crap, I didn't write this down. Oh, he said, Brody, I know you got a chip on your shoulder and something to prove, but so do I. The difference is I don't even work here and have nothing to lose. So, that was a good little line by Matt Cardona. Next up, in a match that ended right, but really shouldn't have gone as long as it did, or kind of the way it was at the start. It was the NWA Women's World Champion Thunder Rosa against Serena Deeb. Good match here. These two women looked really good. But my problem with it was that Thunder Rosa sold a lot for Serena Deeb in this match when she shouldn't have. She's the challenger for the championship this weekend, just 3 days out. And when you're selling this much for a Serena Deeb, no offense, how are we supposed to take her serious? Yes, she beats Serena Deeb in the end, but how are we supposed to take her serious against Hikaru Shida, who, in all retrospect, is better than Serena Deeb? Now you could say, how do you know that? We haven't seen Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. Just think about it. Again, I wasn't fond of the back and forth here, though. Finally, during a commercial break, which, yeah, most of this match went during a commercial break. But during the commercial break, during the picture-in-picture, Thunder Rosa did take over. Rosa at one point hit a dropkick in the corner. Rosa used a necktie. Deeb then slid out and used an octopus hold. Deeb went for a pile driver. Rosa escaped and hit a Death Valley driver. They traded cradles for ones. Rosa then hit a one-legged dropkick, and then the Thunder Driver to pick up the victory. Yet, commentary really put over Serena Deeb. They said that she's a great technical wrestler who's been doing this for 15 years. She's a great trainer and teacher as well, they stated, which she has been a coach at the Performance Center for WWE. Couldn't say that, but someone must really like Serena Deeb because they put her over on commentary big time during the match and let her get this much on the challenger for the championship 3 days before the pay-per-view. And I think it was JR, it may have been Excalibur who said it, but one of them said, you know, Serena Deeb, if she looks good in this match, not only could she be having a match here on Dynamite, but she could be auditioning for an actual job here in AEW. I don't know if Serena Deeb is looking to wrestle full time again. I was shocked when her name came up because she hasn't wrestled a match before tonight since 2017 when she did 2 matches in the Mae Young Classic, and before that, she hadn't wrestled since 2015. Jon Moxley cut a good promo in the back. He said it's championship week, and MJF has made it to the top of the rankings. He said on Saturday, though, all the distractions go away, and it's just him and MJF, kill or be killed. Mox said that he will have to be the meanest, and Mox said that it will have to be the meanest and nastiest version of MJF ever to beat him for this title. He said it's MJF's moment, but everything he's done until now, it's just been easy. So Tony Schiavone interviews a Big Swole. Big Swole said, I'm going to take the fight to Brit Baker on Sunday where she works in a tooth and nail match. And my first thought was, okay, what the hell is a tooth and nail match? Please don't be a cinematic match in the dentist office. Because she said, I'm going to take Brit Baker to the limit where she works. Yeah, she works here in AEW, but you work here too. So saying where she works, maybe you mean where we work. Anyways, they're doing something called a tooth and nail match, and this match between Brit Baker and Big Swole will be on the kickoff show, the pre-show, the buy-in. Then somebody wearing all black and a black hat and a black mask walks up. We know it's Reba or Rebel, and she says, delivery for Tony Schiavone. Delivery, I got a pizza here for you. Tony's like, I didn't pay for a pizza. And she goes, well, it's already paid for. Just take it. When Brit Baker would attack Big Swole from behind with a crutch and then kick her repeatedly with the right leg, the leg that's been injured. Also, she wasn't in her wheelchair, so Brit Baker has been cleared for competition. Of course, we knew that because they kept telling us she's going to fight at the pay-per-view. Baker then put Big Swole in the lockjaw and threw the pizza on her. The announcers made basically jokes this entire time about it being, oh, it's a pepperoni pizza. And then JR, I think his caliber was like, oh, that's a nice looking pepperoni pizza. And JR said something along the lines of, well, I'm glad at least there's no pineapple on it. He treated this as nothing more than a joke of a segment. Commentary made fun of the segment. Who's supposed to give 2 shits about this match at the pay-per-view? Who? Not me. I'll watch the match because I'm going to watch the whole show. But who the hell is supposed to care about Big Swole versus Brit Baker? A, because they made fun of the segment on commentary, and B, because they didn't even tell us what a tooth and nail match is. Is somebody getting a tooth pulled out? I don't know. Please explain this, Stip. Finally, we go to our main event. Sterling entered for the main event. He was wearing a padded outfit. Sterling acted as though he didn't want to be here and tried to get away. Wardlow was there the whole time to make sure he didn't run off. So Moxley offered Sterling some free shots early. Sterling poked Moxley in the eye, and Moxley beat Sterling around ringside and hit him with his shoe. Moxley returned the eye poke and then hit a paradigm shift in the middle of the ring and pinned him. So Moxley beats the lawyer, Noda. After the match, Wardlow jumped Moxley immediately as the bell rang. MJF would slowly make his way down to the ring. He would ditch the walker, ditch the neck brace, and jump in there and attack Jon Moxley. He would then ask Wardlow, give me the ring. Put on the Dynamite ring, the Dynamite diamond ring, and he punched Moxley in the face, busting the world champion open. He would then jump on a bloody Jon Moxley and beat him down repeatedly with shots to the head. He then posed over Moxley as Wardlow handed him the world title, and that is how the show went off the air. Now, if this was WWE, I'd say, oh, Moxley's winning. Oh, MJF gets the better of him on the go home. There you go. But it's not WWE, so maybe Moxley does win. We'll talk about that here in a moment. But overall, I thought the show was all right to good. I'd rate it a 7 because there were a couple things where I was just like, why? Why did that need to happen? I mean, the whole thing building up the casino battle royale, that was a head scratcher that went way too long. That happened during a commercial. Matt Hardy, Sammy stuff. You're building up a match with some guy's career on the line during a commercial. And then the Brit Baker, Big Swole stuff, they made a complete joke. So those three things really soured me tonight, which is why I can't give this match a higher rating. All the matches themselves, other than the main event, of course, were good. But it was just those little things. I was like, why? This is your go-home show. You got to get us invested in these matches. Not make some of them look like jokes. Actually, 3 of them look like jokes. But with that, we got AEW All Out to talk about. We got to do our predictions for AEW All Out. With that, AEW All Out does come to us this weekend, this Saturday night on BR Live and pay-per-view. Going forward, give me 1 second, guys. Going forward, we do have 9 matches so far announced for the pay-per-view. And we'll kick it off with the tooth and nail match on the buy-in. Match to see Brit Baker versus Big Swole. I'm going to say Big Swole gets the victory. Next up, in a Broken Rules match, we will see Matt Hardy taking on Sammy Guevara. And with Matt Hardy's career on the line, it's gotta be Matt Hardy winning this match. It's a Falls Count Anywhere last man standing match. Matt's gotta win because I highly doubt Matt Hardy is leaving AEW. Next up, in a tag team match, we got Drastic Express versus the Young Bucks. I'm going Young Bucks. Obvious. Also, we have a match, Dark Order versus the Natural Nightmares, Matt Cardona and Scorpio Sky. Now, if Mr. Brody Lee wasn't the TNT champion, I'd go the other guys. But since Brody Lee is the champion, I'm going to go Dark Order picking up the victory. Next up, we do have a 21-man casino battle royale where the winner earns a world title shot in the future. So far announced for this match is Darby Allin, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, Pentagon, Phoenix, The Butcher, The Blade, Eddie Kingston, Sean Spears, Billy Gunn, Austin Gunn, Jay Kager, Santana, Ortiz, Chucky T, and Trent. I don't know who to pick here. I honestly don't. I'm gonna say Darby? Sure. Let's go Darby Allin. Next up with the AEW Women's World Championship on the line, Hikaru Shida, we're taking on Thunder Rosa. And because Thunder Rosa is not an actual AEW wrestler, she's on loan from the NWA, I gotta go Hikaru Shida. It's just the obvious answer there. And next up, in the Mimosa Mayhem match, where you can win by pinfall, submission, or throwing your opponent into a tank of mimosa, it's Jericho versus Orange Cassidy. And they're 1-1. This is tough. Jericho won the first match. Cassidy won the second match. I'm going to go Orange Cassidy. I could be wrong. This is a tough one for me, but I'm going to go Orange Cassidy because I can see Jericho getting thrown into that mimosa and selling it well. And finally, in the main event, with the AEW World Championship on the line, Jon Moxley's defending against MJF. And this is probably the hardest match to predict because they're going all in with MJF right now. Jon Moxley's the undefeated champion. Do you take the title off of Moxley, who's been a red-hot champion? Or do you say, nope, it's time for the future and go MJF? You know what? I'm going to say it. It's time for the future, go MJF. I'm picking MJF to defeat Jon Moxley at the pay-per-view and become the new AEW World Champion. So with that, guys, those are my predictions for AEW All Out, coming to us this Saturday night on pay-per-view and BR Live. Also, if you live outside of the United States, you can catch it on, I want to say, Fight TV. We will be live following All Out this Saturday night right here on the PWUnlimited Twitch channel. So catch us for our review then. And with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here tonight on Twitch to talk about AEW Dynamite. I thought it was a pretty good show. It was a 7 in my book. So with that, thank you for joining me here on Twitch. Remember to follow us on YouTube, youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. And follow us on Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited. And follow us on Twitter at PWUnlimited. You can also follow me on social media by following me on Twitter at TimmyBuddy. Ooh, I forgot a match. Sorry. With the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page will be defending against FTR. And the top guys, FTR, winning the tag team titles. That's an obvious one as well. So with that, guys, I will see you tomorrow night for the SmackDown review. Remember, if you missed any of our previous live streams or any of this live stream, you can check it here, video on demand section on Twitch or on the PWUnlimited YouTube channel. Have a good night, guys.